what happens when electric vehicle meets Mercedes-Benz. This is the all-new Mercedes-Benz EQS. This one specifically being the EQS 450, an all-new sub-brand of Mercedes-Benz, similar to how we have AMG within our performance division. This is our all-new electric vehicle line from Mercedes-Benz. The EQS being the first and being the flagship of the brand. This is an EQS 450, all new for this year, with an EQS 580 coming soon. Very impressive vehicle, all new from the ground up. So this is not a redesign. This is not any kind of a refresh. This is an all new model. And this is exciting because this is all new infrastructure for the Mercedes-Benz brand. I'm going to be talking to you a little bit today about specifically the EQS as well as the EQ subdivision within the Mercedes-Benz brand and what it means for the future of Mercedes-Benz. All right, so for a visual walk around of the exterior of the vehicle, right from the start, you notice a very striking brand new grille on the EQ line. One of the first things I noticed when I saw it for the first time is the all new grille design around the central star. Those are actually small Mercedes stars built into this new sort of star-blocked grille. If you think back to our diamond block grille we have on a lot of our sports cars and coupes, this is an all-new grille design for Mercedes, which is going to be popularized on the EQs as well as some upcoming models. A few other things that you'll note is this sort of central light band on the middle, where you have LED lights not only on the exterior here, but actually across the center. And we're going to see that again around back as well. When we work our way to the headlights, something very cool about this new headlight design, this is the all-new Mercedes-Benz digital light. And this digital light has quite a few cool effects to it, including individualized pixels within the light assembly. This is very sophisticated technology. Think of it a lot like almost like laser light technology. So you have the ability now to project individual LED elements out of the light assembly themselves. It's tremendous, has a lot of cool tricks up its sleeve when it comes to driving and notating things on the road while you're driving. Along the side, you're gonna notice a lot of new wheel designs. Every one of them having a lot of very cool aerodynamic features to make the car a little bit better when it comes to efficiency. So actually the reason for this sort of little aero designed wing in the center is to improve efficiency and improve the overall range of the vehicle. Something else you notice along the side is this new sort of slot here in the upper left corner of the vehicle. That is actually your windshield washer fluid slot. No longer will you be opening the hood. You'll notice the hood is actually sealed closed. It is no longer needed to access because you're not putting anything in under the hood of the vehicle, again with the washer fluid slot here. You're also going to notice this different design up front, how this is slotted a little bit below the wheel. This once again improves aerodynamics, improves efficiency. Along the side, you're going to see the all-new seamless door handle design popularized in the new generation S-Class. Additionally, the EQS is a four-door coupe, so it is actually not a sedan. You're going to see the same frameless design with the doors, popularized by the CLS, the GT four-door before it. As we work our way along, the all-new sort of DNA-inspired helix design of the rear taillight, very, very cool assembly here. Once again with the light band going the entire way across. Badging on the outside, new design of the badging here, star in the center. Once again, we'll be able to open the trunk with the star itself. And this one's very sharp. This is actually in the all-new Onyx Black, only offered on the EQS and the S-Class. Let's take it for a drive. See, it not only looks like a space shuttle, it sounds like one. Whole new feel to this car. One of the first things you realize, I think, when you get inside is it from an appointment standpoint, really feels like a proper S-Class. It feels like a proper flagship. The overall design, the layout, a lot of the technology, you're going to recognize much of this if you've seen the new design of the S-Class since this past redesign. Much of the design of the stalks, design of the wheel, some of the controls that you see over here, some of the look of the display. This has a lot of S-Class in it. However, there are some differences, so we're going to cover a few of those as well. but you definitely feel that high-end luxury appointment feature that you expect from a flagship Mercedes. Lots of different types of materials. The piano lacquer design down here, the all-new central display of the Mercedes-Benz user experience. This really cool display here that I absolutely love. You can see so much information on the screen behind your steering wheel. I really like what they've done with the side panels. One of the first things I noticed my first time sitting inside of an EQS was not only the styling here, but the use of all new materials. I loved the fact that they're using some really cool new materials, many of which are actually made from recycled fibers. You have a lot of recycled metals, even with the way this vehicle is built. About 70% of the metal is actually from recycled sources. This all new Neo Tex, it's kind of like a micro suede, creates a really nice sort of high-end designer feel with the new stitching and across the panels here. Some new woods. This is the natural grain gray oak wood, which has been sort of inset here into the center console and along the side panels. And it's just so quiet. I think that's one of the first things you realize when you get in this car is everything about it is so quiet. And the power is awesome. I mean, it is effortless. You put your foot down on this vehicle and it is all there instantly. It's shocking how fast you can get up to highway speeds with very little pressure on the accelerator. Just something about having a car with no lag. I mean, having batteries, it's like turning a light switch on. Something that I had as a question to some of the reps from Mercedes-Benz was in regards to the paddle shifters. It doesn't have a transmission. So I saw paddle shifters, I saw a plus and a minus, and I thought, why are there paddle shifters on the car? Well, the concept there actually has to do with the energy recuperation. So right now, you'll notice in the gauge, we're actually driving at what's called normal recuperation. So these are different drive modes within the vehicle, kind of like how the dynamic select feature is. It sort of kind of plays hand in hand with that a bit, but it changes your acceleration patterns and how the recuperation is with accelerating, decelerating in the car. So again, we're driving at what's considered normal right now. If I toggle a paddle shifter, you're going to see it now says strong recuperation. So what I noticed immediately when I did that with the minus side here is it's a lot quicker to respond and brake now with me simply taking my foot off the accelerator. I'm not actually hitting the brake pedal, but the car is braking. This is sort of something you're starting to see from some electric cars, which is kind of like a one-pedal drive, where you sort of get a little bit of that almost like electric golf cart feel, which is pretty cool, where you can sort of drive with one pedal in a lot of ways. You basically can use your accelerator, and not until you're trying to come to a complete stop do you ever actually touch your brake. You'll still find in the strong recuperation, if you hit the accelerator, you still have a ton of power, but again, when you let off, you brake much faster. The car is actually trying to save sort of some of that lost acceleration to help kind of charge the battery and save some of the power. And as you probably guessed, if I press the plus sign, I can switch back to normal recuperation. Additionally, if I press the plus sign again, I have what's called no recuperation. Now you're going to notice in the gauge is it not only brings it up here, but it also does where the drive reads out. So right now it says D+. If I toggle into normal, it says D. If I toggle into strong, it says D-. So this minus and plus is kind of a cool way where you can literally control accelerator feedback and how the vehicle performs as you're driving it. As you probably guessed, in the D+, the no recuperation, put your foot down, it's unreal. I mean, you have access to 100% of the vehicle power almost instantly. Got to watch out for that because I'm going to accelerate far faster than the other cars around me on the road. So it's pretty unbelievable. Definitely more your performance feel if you want to toggle it to the no recuperation, is you're getting all the power instantly. Speaking of some of the gauge details, you're going to notice some changes here. Not only is this a little bit of a different design than what you may be used to seeing from Mercedes-Benz with this sort of all-new instrument cluster, you're going to see some of it taken from the all-new S-Class, and some of these gauge designs being unique to the EQS specifically. So, With the left side of the steering wheel here, we have the ability to control what sort of gauge cluster we have. We, of course, have Classic. We have a few gauge clusters which are designed around specific information being put in the full screen. Things like driver's assistance features, full screen navigation, which is very cool. You can pull up a massive navigation screen right here in front of the driver. You also have the ability to change between some of these sort of sport settings where you can get real-time G-forces, percentage of the power that you're using. This understated, which is a pretty cool, slick look. If you don't like a lot of information, don't really want the distraction, you can just pull up sort of like a clock and some basic information on screen. And within every one of these, we have the ability to customize gauge data as well. So if I, for example, go back to the Classic gauge, you'll notice I can pull up things like radio, navigation, odometer, speed, etc., all on screen, whether it be in the center here or by hopping into individual gauges. Again, I'm doing this all simply with my left hand on the steering wheel. Below where I control the gauge, you'll notice I, of course, have all my controls for the cruise control, which oftentimes on the EQS is going to be adaptive. The Distronic system, which you're going to find for much of our sort of semi-autonomous drive features, are all capable right here. This is also going to include things like the active blind spot, active lane keeping assist, etc. Right side of my wheel, have the ability to control everything on this display, which I can do so here, as well as controlling things like volume, calling, etc., as I can, of course, also control on screen. Massive touchscreen. This is how you operate everything now, so whether you want to control your climate down here on the bottom, or all of these menus, a few of which are selective to the EQ, including this all-new EQ menu. So this is pretty cool. So there is literally a whole new page within the EQ settings now where you can control the EQ specific stuff. So what is EQ? So this is the new electric division, sort of like subdivision, if you will, of Mercedes-Benz. So what you're going to see is within the nomenclature of every one of our all-electric vehicles, you're going to see the letters EQ. So this, again, being an EQS, this is designed to be sort of our all-electric S. Within this specific EQ menu, you'll notice when I click it, I instantly have charge data. So right off the get-go, I can see about how much percentage power I have. I'm sitting on about 62% right now. The car is estimating about 219 miles. Cool thing about this is actually this. This vehicle is rated to have about 350-mile range. And you'll notice that I actually have more than that, despite the fact that I am showing 62%, 219 miles. It's an awful lot. It's quite a bit. And kind of the cool thing there just goes to show that depending on how you drive the car, you may actually find you get more than 350-mile range, again, based on things like energy recuperation, how you're using the climate control, how you're driving. And you can pull a lot of that data up on screen, all from this menu. You can click on these programs and even see different abilities to when you plug into a charger, how it handles the charge. We'll be going through as well how to charge the EQS and showing off some of the cool capabilities within this menu once you are plugged in. You can control charging times, you can control how much power is sent to the vehicle over certain times a day. So for example, if you're shooting for maybe off-peak hour charging to save on electric, you have that capability. You can also do much of this from the all-new app, which there's actually now a Mercedes EQ portion to the Mercedes Me Connect services, which will allow you from your phone to control charging as your phone's plugged in. If I click on this range screen, something I like a lot is the ability to restrict. So if you're ever driving the EQS or any of the Mercedes EQs for an extended period of time and you're worried at all about range, say you're getting a little anxious about pulling the absolute most range that you can out of the battery before needing to stop and charge, you can simply click on this range indicator here and you can restrict certain functions, and you'll actually see on screen it tell you how many miles you will gain by restricting certain climate control settings, interior design functions, seat comfort functions, etc. So you can actually turn certain elements of the car off that you may not even really be using anyway and save power, which is pretty awesome. Consumption menu gives you additional details as well, tells you about how efficiently you've been driving. Something else unique to the all-new EQS is there are some different variants, both from a performance standpoint as well as to do with the powertrains offered. This vehicle we're driving right now is an EQS 450 Plus. This is actually a rear-wheel drive Mercedes. The EQS 580 is the 4MATIC offering with actually a second motor, so additional power. Again, depending on how much power that you're going for, there's even going to be an inbound AMG EQS coming soon with further performance characteristics. And they're offering some different versions throughout in terms of trim levels, so some of the equipment groupings, as well as things like all-wheel drive and so on. So once again, this is actually the rear-wheel drive. We're driving it in the wintertime. It's handling great. If you're looking at it from the performance standpoint, you have a dynamic select feature here that still allows you to change the performance as well, similar to past Mercedes. You get that cool kind of feedback too. It sounds like a space shuttle. So you notice that sound feedback that we get? There are sound profiles, several sound profiles offered on the EQS, which is actually what you're hearing. It gives you that feeling and that sort of sound that you expect to have some, you know, just sort of kind of interior effect or interior noise, so you kind of know how fast you're going or realize that you have kind of different power bands as you're accelerating, because again, there's no engine, there's no transmission shifting or anything for you. You can actually change how the car sounds too as you're driving it. You'll notice I can pull up a bunch of the advanced settings as well on screen here. When I click on this little EQ indicator along the side, it's pretty awesome. It'll in real time give me an idea about different charging stations and everything from parking spaces to full charging network on screen, which is pretty awesome. But I'll go through some of the menus here with you on screen. Actually, something else we have right now is we have our augmented reality at work. So see how it's giving us this traffic light view? It's actually using a front-facing camera where if I'm using the navigation, I can superimpose the nav on screen. In addition to, when I get close to traffic lights, it can actually superimpose some of this detail. So it's kind of cool. I mean, you can be on the screen and actually see what's going on without even having to avert your eyes. So makes it to where you can do a few more things on screen without having to avert your eyes. Speaking of some of the other capabilities within the new settings menu on here, you're going to find some additional vehicle stuff such as sound experience, where with any EQ vehicle you'll find that now you can also turn this feature off. So if it's something you don't like, if you want the vehicle to just be totally quiet, you can turn this feature off. However, if you like it, if you want to use it, you leave this trigger on, and if you hit this little settings gear here, you'll find that 2 sound experiences come with every EQS 450 or 580 from the factory: the Silver Waves and the Vivid Flux. So actually I'll give you guys a little sound experience here so you can sort of see what I'm talking about. So if we're in Silver Waves, acceleration, deceleration, Vivid Flux, how cool is that, right? And more sound experience profiles coming soon, including several of which that will likely sound like gasoline counterparts. So if you're someone that's wanting your electric vehicle to sort of sound like a gasoline vehicle, that will eventually be an option for you. If you like these sort of sounds, you'll have that capability. So tons and tons and tons of standard safety equipment on the new EQS, and likely coming to every EQ that you'll see from Mercedes-Benz, from, of course, collision assist and active braking, blind spot assist monitoring on the sides, and things like parking sensors all around the car, surround view camera, so something else we'll have to show off here in just a few moments. Lots and lots and lots of standard safety equipment, even things including, of course, electronic tensioning devices with the seat belts, your full pre-safe occupant accident avoidance system. This particular one being equipped with the driver's assistance package gives it some additional semi-autonomous safety, so things like the adaptive cruise control system with Distronic turns the lane keeping assist and blind spot assist into active assist features, meaning the car can actually avert back into the lane for you. Also, of course, every vehicle equipped with the parking assist, it does have a self-park feature where it can pull in, back in, parallel, pull out, back out
with very little driver input. Some pretty amazing features too from a charging standpoint. Again, the initial estimates are 350 mile range on the EQS 450, about 340 mile range on an EQS 580. I know there's quite a few companies out there that have already done some real-world testing on both models and gotten even further range than that. So how cool is this camera? So you hit the parking assist feature here, and you're going to notice that right from the get-go, I mean, just an amazing array of cameras, right? So you can actually move around on the screen too on the fly. This is actually part of a rather new Mercedes feature as well, which is called Guard 360. And Guard 360, in addition to showing you all these cameras, has the capability that in the event it senses damage, say possible theft, somebody striking the vehicle in a parking lot, something like that, has the capability to actually do a recording of the next few moments to record on screen using these cameras what's happening around the vehicle. So you have some extra layer of security, including literally a surround series of cameras and sensors on the fly. And these are operable as well if the vehicle's off. So that is kind of a very cool new feature with the theft and just to kind of help to protect the car on the fly. In addition to helping you when you park. So of course we have a series of 360-degree parking sensors as well as cameras. We also have the capability on screen that if you wanted to use the autonomous parking feature, you'll notice that we can simply click where it says parking assist, and just as the screen says here, drive forward to search for parking spaces. So as we drive forward with this vehicle past various parking spaces, you will actually see the spots appear on screen. Simply click the indicator, choose your direction. So if you want to pull in or back in, you'll notice it gives you that option. It'll also offer you on screen to just click the parking button, which you'll find there. Rear camera image, and you'll notice the car is backing up. Now this differs a little bit from past iterations of the parking, where it would actually have you engage the reverse gear. You no longer have to. Now you simply can press the parking indicator again, and the car will handle that aspect for you. Something else I like with the new parking assist is you do have the capability to control speed at which this is happening. So if this is happening a little too quick for you, if you want to slow the process down, you can press your brake and you can pause the parking process. You also at any time have the ability to just take over with the wheel, in which case the green indicators on the screen will go away and you will then, as the driver, be in control. But it did a pretty awesome job. I didn't have to jump in at all. So that's a real good example of how the autonomous parking aid can quite literally park for you.
How do you charge? It's very easy. It is like putting gas in your car. It's exceptionally simple. So you will notice around back where we would typically have a fuel door on the gasoline vehicles, there is a port. Pushing on the back of the door will open the port. Inside, here is your plug. You'll notice every Mercedes-Benz EQ vehicle, including the EQS, uses the commonly found J-plug design, 5-pin or 7-pin. What are the differences, you may ask? So, the 5-pin is used for the AC level 2 charging. If you have a charger that you'll notice has those 5 pins, you know it's level 2, you simply plug into the slot there. If you are at a DC fast charging slot, you'll notice the J-plug uses 7 pins, in which case you use this entire component you see here. Again, that's the faster charge. So the way that works is actually in this vehicle, there is a charging unit. That charging unit has the capability for 9.6 kilowatt AC charging, which again is level 2. It also has capability of 200 kilowatt DC fast charging, which is level 3. So a very cool charging unit built into the vehicle, built in with the high voltage cables and the batteries that allows for charging. When you're at a charging station, similar to what you see in front of me, exterior ones will look a lot like this. We'll show you some images as well of what an interior one may look like. This happens to be one of the charge point stations that you see here. This happens to be a 2-port charging station where of course we could charge 2 EVs at one time. You'll notice a very simple to use component right here, which you simply click down and remove. The way to use this particular station is you simply use the screen first. Once payment information is input here using something like a credit card or a charge point account, you simply click below, remove the charger, and insert into the vehicle. It couldn't be simpler. Something else Mercedes also does inside the port here is they give you a color coding system to let you know exactly what's going on while you charge. So you're going to notice it actually uses some colors along here to show you white for the vehicle is simply unlocked, the port is open. The blue indicators to let you know about current charging. being charged, fully charged, yellow indicators to let you know things like the vehicle is in pause mode, which you can do from the inside, and so on. So you always know what's going on using a nice little color-coded system here. When it's time to remove the charger, very easy to do so, simply pressing the charging stop indicator here and removing the plug. Additionally, many level 2 chargers, including ones that can be right in your home, look like this. So this actually happens to be a charge point station that can be installed right in your home. This exact charger right here was about $699. So about a $700 charger could be installed right on the wall or in a standalone spot in your garage at your home. And you'll notice it actually has the charger attached right here, which very simple to use. Once again, this is the 5-pin AC level 2 charging that you see here, which will of course again differ from the 7-pin look. You'll notice it's actually plugged into a 220 outlet. So that was our test drive in the all-new Mercedes EQS. If you have any questions, if you'd like to see one for yourself, please do not hesitate to visit us at Smail Mercedes-Benz here in Greensburg, or visit us on the web at smailmercedesbenz.com.